listening to audiobooks when I'm getting ready or when I'm getting ready for like bed at night, when I'm brushing my teeth. So long story short, I'm pretty much like reading mainly audiobooks because I just don't have as much time for physical books. However, I can't really make ASMR with audiobooks, so I came up with this idea that I have some books that are at least in like a similar color. I took off the jacket and I would tap on those books and I would show you like a picture of the actual book that I'll be talking about. Yeah, because obviously I cannot tap on audiobooks and I don't have the physical copy of the most books. So let's just get right into it. I have like 7 books here, so let's begin, okay? So the first book that I have read that I really, really loved is called Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I did not expect to love it as much. I have read it for Veda ASMRs and Eliza's book club, and there's I can't even like describe it in words why I love it so much. So basically, let me tell you what it's about. So we follow a main character called Monique, who is a writer in a magazine, and she is requested by Evelyn to write a magazine article about her. So Evelyn Hugo is a huge Hollywood celebrity that was extremely popular in the 60s, I think, 50s, 60s. It's a fictional celebrity, of course, and she is known to live a very scandalous life, and she's known to have 7 husbands, like one after another. And what else can I tell you? She's in her 80s now, I think, 70s, 80s, I'm not exactly sure. And when Monique meets her, she says that she actually wants Monique to write a book about her life story and about the truth behind all of those scandals. So throughout the book you actually have like little articles from the magazines at the time, and then you have the reality behind it, which most of the time is completely different. And for some reason this book like truly resonated with me. There's a lot of difficult topics discussed as well that of course would ruin Evelyn's reputation at the time if the public would learn it. So I love this book. Specifically, there's this one quote that really resonated with me, and I'm going to find it on Instagram because I don't remember it like word to word. Let me see. Okay. The truth is, praise is just like an addiction. The more you get it, the more of it you need just to stay even. And for some reason like this quote truly resonated with me a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. It was probably my favorite read of the year so far. Maybe because, I don't know, like, I was mesmerized by the Hollywood glamour and the reality behind what actually happens. And, you know, sometimes like with celebrities, you think you almost know them based on their scandals, but of course you don't know the reality. You don't actually know them. Anyways, I just thought that it's a really well done, well written book, and I loved it. Okay, keeping him alive so that her line could continue. And she knows that, again, very early on, Rufus is actually going to be like married. I think it said it, married to a black woman. And she kind of takes it upon herself to make him a better person. It's, again, very well done. I mean, there are some things that kind of didn't like make sense to me a lot, because she, like, it's this very mild spoiler, I don't know, she reveals to him that she's from the future, and Rufus just kind of accepts it. Well, I think that at the time, like, she would probably be, I don't know, at least, like, I don't want to say thrown into jail, but especially being black, like, it was kind of unlikely to me he would just accept it and, like, be like, oh yeah, she's a free woman from the 70s. Anyways, that's all I'm gonna say. Like, as the story progresses, it gets heavier and heavier. I think I've rated it 5 stars, but let me tell you, this was an extremely difficult book to read, not for the writing, but for the events that are happening. 19th century America is just probably my least favorite time period to read about, for obvious reasons, and that's all I can say. It's very powerful, I can't talk today, powerful, and thought-provoking book, very mesmerizing, I would say. Obviously there is every trigger warning you can think of probably like associated with this book, so just be prepared. If you are planning on reading it, I feel like you need to be in the right mindset to read it for sure. Yeah, but I've had trouble soon finishing it because of how heavy it was. Okay, the next book I'm not going to talk about for a long time because it's a really short book and I liked it, but it was my favorite. It's called A Psalm for the Wild, built by Becky Chambers, and this is a book set in the future, and it's about a non-binary monk who meets a robot, and they become friends and they travel, and it's just very, how can I describe it, just like good vibes only. Like, if you want something to kind of cheer you up and something that's a little philosophical, you know, the monk, I can't remember their name, but yeah, I can't remember their name, but the monk is searching for the meaning of life, and they're trying to find like a purpose for living, and the monk has to teach the robot certain things because apparently there was like a revolution and robots were pulled from the factories and they decided to live in a forest for centuries now, I think. And yeah, it's a good book. It's really short. The audiobook was like 2 hours, almost 3 hours. Very short. And the second book is going to come out this year, so it's a duology. And yeah, Becky Chambers is known to have a good my personal taste, I guess. Okay, next book. And this is actually the only non-fiction book that I have here. So it's called Bad Blood by John Carreyrou, and it's about Elizabeth Holmes and her company Theranos. So I did a whole video talking about this case, so you can go ahead and watch it if you want to learn more. But long story short, Theranos was a company that promised to make a lot of blood tests just from one drop of blood, and it turned out to be a total scam. And this book is about how it actually happened, because I was wondering, like, how can you even make such a scam possible, you know? Because at some point Elizabeth became the youngest female billionaire, something like that, I think. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, her company was also like valued for billions of dollars, and then it all crashed down, and it crashed down with an article that was published by John Carreyrou, and he ended up making a whole book about it. He interviewed so many people that were involved in the company, and it's a really good non-fiction book. It almost feels like fiction because of how crazy everything is. So highly recommend it. This was a 5-star read for me. Truly, truly liked it. Okay, second to last book I already talked about, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I talked about it in my best books of 2021 video, and that was a video that I filmed like in early January, and then I completely forgot about it. So I forgot about it to post it, basically. So yeah, I've posted it recently, but it's titled Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro, and it's about it's set in a dystopian society where kids have these robots as friends that can like teach them stuff, look after them, and Clara is a robot as well. She is the main character. Like, we learn about all of the events through her point of view, which means that sometimes it's very limited, because she's very naive and childlike, and so a lot of the stuff in the society you kind of have to connect, you know, you have to connect the little dots. And I did like this book. I did an entire video talking about all of my theories on my booktube channel, so you can watch it, because I was very proud of that video. But it's not in ASMR, and don't watch it if you didn't read it before, because you would be spoiled, obviously. But that's all I'm gonna say. Very good book. I want to read more by this author, and I will. His books are very well done and like very thought-provoking. I think that would be the right word to use. Oh, I forgot to mention that I've been listening to all of these audiobooks on Script, so all of them are available there. There's always the link in my description if you want a 2-month free trial instead of 1. I genuinely do like the service. It's probably the cheapest option for me because you can listen to a lot of different audiobooks at the same time. It doesn't have the credit system like Audible has, which just is super inconvenient, to me at least. And I don't get paid to say this, but if you sign up through my link, I will get 1 month free trial added to my membership as well. Okay, the last book that I've read is titled The Octonami by Trevor Alan Forrest, and this is the only physical book I've read. And it's super beautiful. It's a first book in what should be a 12 book series. 12. And you can order it only from their website, and you get a bunch of goodies with it that I don't have here with me. I did a whole unboxing of this book on my channel, so you can watch that if you want to see. And they just announced that there will be a second book coming out in December 2022, so this year, which I'm excited about. To be fair, I kind of wanted to give up on the series already because they take so many years to publish new books, and it kind of seemed to me like they're just trying to like make as much money from the hype from the first book, which understandable. But I became kind of, I don't know, annoyed a little bit because I followed them on social media, and I don't know, yeah, it kind of felt to me like they're more kind of like they're trying to capitalize not on the actual story but on everything that comes with it, which I don't know, it's understandable, it's a good marketing strategy, but anyway, so this is the Octonami, and I feel like you can either love this book or hate this book because it reminds me a lot of Alice in Wonderland. Like, there's so much nonsense with each chapter. Like, with each chapter you meet new characters, more nonsensical stuff happens. The world isn't explained to you at all, you just have to go with it. But I liked it. I like reading fantasy, and it was definitely different, for sure. Good, different. And yeah, it's a good book. I do recommend it. Also, these days, wait, I have the book. Give me a minute, I need to get the book. I'm back. These days, I'm reading The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, and this is a book that has 1,000 pages. This is part 1. I'm still like in part 1. I didn't finish it yet, and there's part 2 like somewhere around there. And this is high fantasy. I do like reading it, but I like to take it slow because I don't want to force myself to read it. So it takes me like a very long time. Let me see. So this is probably one of the most complex fantasies I've ever read. There's a map. There's also like there are different illustrations in the book as well. It has multiple POVs. The world is complicated. The magic system and everything about it is sort of complicated, but you get the gist of it by like, I don't know, I did fully understand it around like 200-page mark. So it took me a time. And there's so many races in the book, and it's just, yeah, there's a lot of different stuff happening, and like I said, it's multiple POVs. It's very complex, so it takes me time to get through it, but I do enjoy it. At the same time, I was reading the Witcher series, and this is a book that takes me like an eternity to get through, but I don't know, I feel like it's just not for me. Like, that might be an unpopular opinion. I'm talking about the Witcher series by Andrzej Sapkowski. I don't know, something about the writing is just not for me, so I ended up putting it down, and now I'm just focusing on this book, the physical copy, and I'm reading a bunch of other audiobooks while listening to them at the same time. So yeah, that'll be it for today's video. The sun just came out. Today is again a very weird day. It's constantly like raining, and then it's sunny, and then it's raining again, and then it gets really windy. I don't know, the weather is crazy these days. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have liked this video about books. I want to make more videos about just kind of refrain